Hi, my name is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and also a proud Phoenix Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with the award-winning actor, voiceover artist, musical improviser. His name, Matt Giroveanu. For more on Matt, you can read more about him right below this video, and I want to let everyone know, Matt is currently starring and producing a hit off-Broadway show called Vern Off-Broadway at the Players Theater in the West Village. For more on Matt, his off-Broadway show, you can read more about him right below this video and more about the show right below this video. But in the meantime, here is a sneak peek at the incredible talent of the one and only Matt. Well, hello, Matt. How are you?
Well, it's so good to see you. How are you?
I'm good, and I really wish the audience heard our pre-interview chat much more lively than what's going on right now. I'm just kidding. It's going to be
You don't know
great.
that. I mean, this is going to be twice as lively. I mean, it's going to be wild.
Listen, I'm so excited that the audience just got a little sneak peek of your incredible talent. And Matt, like I told you just as I was getting on, I recognize you from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel because I'm a huge fan of the show, but you have done so many shows. My showbiz friend of over a decade, Titus Burgess, you served alongside of him in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. How was that?
Oh, it was the most fun. And, you know, we actually were on a cruise ship. We were on a ship, and for the entire day, we were just floating around Manhattan. And so in between takes, we were like hanging out at our own little like table. But yeah, we were actually all over Manhattan, just floating around. And by the end of the night, when we were done shooting, it was like sunset. We were by the Statue of Liberty. It was gorgeous. It was really nice.
One of those showbiz moments that, wow, showbiz can actually be nice.
Yeah, I mean, there was some Dramamine involved because, you know, the boat is rocking after a while, but like still really nice. Still a good time.
Listen, Matt, you're definitely a multi-hyphenate, but also one of the most versatile actors, singers, improvisers on the scene. You're one of those guys that I feel like you must get stopped a lot on the street like, wait. You're that guy from that show.
Where do I know you from? And it's besides prison, outside of that, they usually know me from, like these random spots that I'm on. Like when my episode of Law and Order SVU came out, I was actually on the subway, and like I got this look of like, and those are some of my.
You remind me of someone from Law and Order.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my mom, Matt.
Sounds like my family too. Are we related? Is this why I'm on? Will?
Oh, this is your life. On top of that, Matt, you also are such an amazing musical improviser. I want to just go into it all because also you have so many voiceover spots all over the place. You do it all. Let's start from the very beginning, a very good place to start. Matt, where were you born, and when did you realize that A, you were funny, and also B, you had an amazing singing voice?
Those are all loaded questions, except for where I was born. I am a New Yorker, born and raised. I'm in good old-fashioned Astoria, New York. It's my favorite place in the world, and I learned I was funny. I'm still learning if I am. I don't know if that's if it happened yet, but you'll let me know if it has.
Well, look, I'm a non-BSer from New York myself, and you're effing funny, my friend.
Thank you, Will. I mean, I know that you're a true New Yorker because you are wearing the New York uniform of a black shirt and a black hat. You are New York through and through.
In the Black Mirror.
Of course, the Black Mirror. I mean, it wouldn't be a New York apartment without a black mirror. And what was that third question? I forgot. My brain's turned to oatmeal these days.
When did you realize you had such an amazing voice?
Oh, yeah, no, that is still up for debate, but I've always liked to sing. I started out one of my favorite things to do would be like listen to like Frank Sinatra or any of the crooners. Like crooning is it's just like
Well,
my
you have that voice, Matt. I was about to say you're like an old school crooner, and I can relate. In my singing days, my twin brother and I were singing a lot of the American Songbook, but you can
yeah,
hear
the
your amazing
classics.
voice, on the stage, in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, on television shows, on voiceovers. You obviously pay homage to it, but at the same time, Matt, what I love so much about your comedy is that I mean, obviously you have something called craft and you're so committed to it that like, whereas most comedians, if they do a certain type of comedy, it might be considered hokey, but like yours is so funny in that kind of, crazy ex-girlfriend, unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt way,
Thank
because
you.
there's like a
Thank you.
wink to it. Like you're doing the thing, but there's also like a commentary of that you're doing kind of an old school Borscht Belty sticky type thing,
Yeah.
but you're in on the joke.
Yeah, that's my favorite kind of humor. I'm glad that you picked up on that because it's a blessing and a curse because sometimes if people like that humor, it's perfect. And then it's also the fight always becomes like, is this kind of humor still, I guess, quote, relevant today in terms of like what is modern comedy, when in the different ways. I mean, I am a big fan, of all the old classics. I mean, Mary Tyler Moore, Lucille Ball, Dick Van Dyke. I mean, all of these shows. I mean, these were brilliant people, Betty White, and these were performers who had to improvise, also had to be comedic, and also had to do it clean, completely clean. And the wink or the double entendre would be there, but you couldn't say it. You weren't literally allowed to say it on TV. And that's my favorite kind of humor where it's like, we all know what we're talking about, right? Like we know we're all there. And so I'm so happy that you enjoy it. And I mean, hey, other people enjoy it too, because otherwise I wouldn't be talking to you. I would still be in prison.
Yeah, right. Well, back to prison. Let's really talk about that and lean into. I'm just kidding.
Yes, yes, yes.
But on the comedy thing, another thing that I really think that's very apparent, and again, this isn't just me with my literal and figurative director hat on. I think anyone that sees you is that you are not only paying homage to like old school comedy, what people might say as, clean comedy or
Oh yeah,
family
let's
friendly
let's
comedy.
not get it twisted, Will. I can be absolutely filthy on stage. This I actually borrowed this blazer from Joan Rivers. It's a blazer I got it at Lane Bryant. It's a blazer by Joan Rivers from the 90s. It's perfect.
But I love, Matt, that in a show don't tell way, you are proving that funny is funny, in that truth and comedy will always be universal and timeless. So when you mention the likes of Dick Van Dyke, Mary Tyler Moore, Betty White, Lucille Ball, all of these people of that era that were funny and still are funny, there's nothing hokey about it. And I think, Matt, frankly, we look at the Tina Fey's of the world, who obviously, has hired you to be a part of her programs, is I think that they're all paying homage to it. And I think you do too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these are, in lots of parts of life, they always say like, remember your roots, go back to your roots. And I mean, go back to the roots of comedy. There are certain situations that will always be funny. There's certain things on the human condition that will always be funny. And one of those things, truthfully, is truth. And the truth will always be funny because it's something we all experience. And if you put it up in a different way in a mirror, and here I am getting on a soapbox, and like, if you put it on a mirror in front of someone, they will laugh. But it's true because there are things we all experience. And when someone mirrors that experience back to you in like a silly way, it's like, oh, I understand it now. And I think that's a really important part of comedy too, is that a lot of it's truth. A lot of it is literal truth. I don't have to make anything up. It's literally right there in front of us.
Well, and on top of that, Matt, you also have an amazing skill set as an improviser. We're obviously
Ah,
we're always taught to yes and, in that if when people see you live, you literally are a one-man variety show. It's kind of like you're kind of this cauldron of Carol Burnett meets Jimmy Fallon meets
I'm gonna take
Jerry Lewis, Dean Martin. I mean, you have all of these bones of the contemporaries of today and yesteryear, but it's through the filter of you. It's not, you're not a second-rate version of someone else. You are true to you.
Would you mind,
your,
Will, if I took that quote and just rearranged it a little bit just for me so I can put it on my website later, which is Matt is a second-rate cauldron full of bones.
correct. Well, that would be the truth of the matter. I'm
Right.
just trying to make you feel good about yourself today.
I thank you, because you're the third person today who's tried and it just isn't working. Huh. Yeah,
Now we're getting into what our pre-interview was about, because
we're just having a wild time. I mean, this green screen behind me is just to, not show the
I love your
correctional
Peter
facility.
Pan shadow once in a while.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want people to see the correctional facility behind me. So
You are on the set of Orange is the New Black, where actually you are in the real prison.
Yeah, I'm there. Yep, I'm acting right now. I'm an actor.
Matt, listen to me. Obviously, these past 18 months have been hard for everyone, especially artists. But
for sure.
I've been thinking though, with you, especially as a voiceover artist, how has this time for you maybe accentuated those opportunities?
Absolutely. There was a lot of remote work happening before the pandemic, where there are different programs and softwares that us voiceover artists would use to connect with engineers around the world, not just here in New York or the other coast, or in Chicago, Atlanta. With different softwares like Source Connect, for example, is one of those. You can connect to a studio or an engineer anywhere in the world. And I've worked with clients from all over the world from my little voiceover studio that we're in now. And instead of having to fly to London to meet with a client and do a session in London, which costs them a lot of money, I just do it from here. I do it from Queens, and it's wonderful.
Matt, what I also love about you is that you have an everyman quality too. You have
this blazer screams everyman, Will.
Well, despite what you're wearing today, truly though, you have an everyman quality to you. I'm sure you've heard it before. You're kind of like, you could be, oh, you remind me of my cousin, you remind me of my best friend, you remind me of my brother, you remind me of that, crazy uncle that, is never invited to Christmas but comes to the holidays with that jacket. Too soon?
No, it's fine. What Will is saying, dear viewer, is that I'm not allowed over his apartment anymore.
Dear viewer, your mom.
Yes, dear the literal tens of friends or family members or people I've paid to watch this.
Yeah, right.
My lawyers, whatever judge is reviewing my case.
Or also your cousins.
Yes, also my cousins. You'd think those kinds of connections would have gotten me out of prison, but no, here I am.
Or out from behind that green screen or blue screen or multicolored screen.
I love, because you and I, we have a wonderful comedic rapport back and forth. I really hope that people don't think I'm actually like an ex-con or currently in prison.
But I actually hope they do.
Maybe they will. But then I'm going to start booking some very strange jobs like, yeah, you were in prison, right?
You're right. Well, hopefully the Venmo clears.
Yeah. Am I allowed to even have a Venmo? I don't know these answers to these questions.
That I'm usually crying from these interviews by being moved, but literally I'm moved with a lot of joy. And look, I said this off camera, but I want to say it again. I really can't wait for our paths to cross, because you're a light, you're a joy, you have a great vibe about you. I can see why, honestly, I could see why you work so much, because, just meeting you today, it's like you want to get in the sandbox with you, because look, the business is tough enough. You only want to get in the sandbox and play with people that you want to have fun with. And Matt, you're an absolute joy, an absolute, truly like a once in a generation talent. I've never met anyone like you.
Well, you need to meet more people then, Will. No, I'm kidding. I will take that compliment straight to the bank.
You need to get out.
Yeah, you will. You need to get out more. You need more friends, is what that sentence tells me. No, thank you, Will. That is one of the nicest things I think I've ever heard in my entire life.
Today.
Today. I cannot wait, for our paths to cross too. And
They're going
also,
to, my friend. They're going to.
I'm just gonna do that because I realized there was like, I don't know, there's something on my face.
It's
And you,
it's
it's
called
just,
your nose.
it's what? When did this get here? I didn't pay for this.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, or just Matt's mom. For more on the amazing Matt, you can read more about him right below this video. Matt, you listen. All jokes aside, you are an immense talent. You are an absolute effing joy, and I can't wait for our paths to cross sooner rather than later. Truly, thank you for
Thank
your
you,
time
Will.
today.
Oh, this has been a pleasure. Let's do it again. Let's do it again in like 15 minutes.
Right, and not record.
This is by the way, dear mom and other 5 viewers who are out there, this is how podcasts start. It's like, let's do this again in 15 minutes and then we'll do it once a week. This is how it starts.
God bless you, man. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, Will. Take care.